What's up, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And this one I want to talk about what's happening with Tesla SPY in the overall market. I'm also going to break down some very important news that's coming out involving earnings and some big things to watch for when it comes to Tesla's share price. But just note that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $2,000 more, you're guaranteed 30 in total. And the offer ends very, very soon in just about a couple of months. Anyways, let's talk about what's happening with the market. So, as far as Tesla's going, as you guys can tell, Tesla's been on a very, very parabolic run, and there's different patterns you can look at when it comes to the way the week is going to be developing. So, as a reminder, for next week on Wednesday, it's going to be Tesla's earnings after market close, and Tesla will give us more insights about what they're going to be announcing for the future when it comes to their future products and other factors like that. I also want to mention that as far as things are going, we also have FOMC on Wednesday. It's going to be another big factor. So Tesla has two big factors that are going to be affecting its share price. So you have to be ready for this just to be safe. Now, as far as Tesla's earnings goes, I want to mention that Q4 was not the strongest for Tesla. I believe that Tesla's sales looked very, very good, but there were some issues with it because at the end of the year of 2024, we were at a decline in terms of their overall sales compared to 2023. It's not the end of the world. This is not necessarily a surprise considering the hardships that many of these buyers had to face with these higher interest rates and global downturns that were going on. But simultaneously, I still think that Tesla is going to be very fine as time goes on. Now, there's going to be a lot of questions asked for Tesla, right? When you look at EV sales, yes, Tesla did a very, very great job at continuing to see them grow, but we got a big decline in Q1 of 2024, which is what I think played a big role in why we saw their sales decline. And then Tesla hit this like really high amount of sales in Q4 of 2023. So trying to keep up with that again was very, very difficult. But it wasn't until Q4 of 2024, just the last quarter, when Tesla finally surpassed its all-time high number. But it wasn't really enough to get them into the green when it comes to year-over-year sales. That's okay, though. Hopefully, Tesla helps to offset that. You have to remember that in the global stage, the EV sector is still growing. We saw a 25% increase in global sales for EVs, but in China, it was up about 40%. So China made up the large majority of those sales, right? Most EV sales, more than half of them actually came in China globally in 2024. And that was a big market for Tesla. Their Chinese sales remained very, very strong. However, in Europe, we actually saw a slight decline by about 3% in EV sales. And this could be because of many different factors that were affecting it, especially these interest rates. In the US and Canada, we saw their sales up 9%. In the rest of the world, they're up about 27%. But you have to remember the US and China are two of the biggest markets, not to mention Europe. Europe is also pretty big. So we'll be watching to see how these sales look, at least moving forward. So what's going to be very important for Tesla is their guidance. Can they provide a good enough guidance? And then if they provide us with that guidance, if they give us really, really good numbers, that could get investors somewhat excited. So I hope that's going to be good for them. As far as earnings goes, they're also going to be talking a lot about their AI and robotics, which I think could get investors very hyped as well. But will it be enough to impress investors? That's something I'm going to be watching for just to be safe. It depends on what Mr. Musk ends up saying. So with that being said, let's talk about this. Wedbush is saying that by the end of 2025, we could be looking for a $550 price target for Tesla. I think that's very possible. So it makes you think that if you buy this thing at under 400, although it's still a high price, that still is technically a decent price compared to where this thing is going to be going to. But I think that there could be better opportunities. And there's many different reasons why I say that. So the first factor is that Tesla is known for moving very similar to the market in a lot of different ways. And historically, what tended to happen to Tesla was during a lot of big runs, it had a tendency of retracing to its 0.786 retracement. Now, I think that Tesla was very parabolic, and we've entered a phase where that might not be as realistic because when you go back to the charts, I'm sure there's another instance where this happened. So another example is like right over here. We got this very, very big run back up to about the $300 area. This was back in like July of 2023. Then we saw Tesla sell off to our 0.786 retracement before it tried to bounce again. But in this case, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for that to be like a strategy to use because right here, Tesla was down here at 141. And then we hit this high of about like the 487 area. The 0.786 is all the way down at 215. And I doubt Tesla's going to dump that much. That's pretty extreme. But I do notice that our very, very key level is the 0.382 area, which is going to be around that 355 area to 360. It also aligns with our 20 EMA. So if we do get some kind of pullback after earnings, that could be like a really good point of interest to start loading up on shares. And the reason I say that is because we've made such a parabolic move, and that could be a buying opportunity because of the potential upside that's coming later and because of this technical setup. I also want to call out another pattern that develops on Tesla. So if you zoom out like this, you'll notice a very interesting pattern. We love to form kind of like a cup and handle. We formed a cup here, we had a little handle, then we pushed, right? That's one example of a cup and handle that Tesla formed. There's another example right here where we formed a cup. We did not really form much of a handle. We just, pushed higher. We retraced, then we just continued to go higher like that. This is a strange looking cup and handle like pattern, but that's what tends to develop on Tesla. There's another example. So, for instance, we essentially did something similar here. We formed a very, very nice cup, which led to this big pump. So this was like another reaccumulation phase where Tesla kind of like came down like this, got the accumulation. There wasn't really much of a handle here, but we just continued to rally to the all-time high. Okay, and then we basically have been developing that over and over again. But in this case, this also resembles a giant cup and handle that's been forming on Tesla. So like right here, you could argue that we are going to retrace a bit. If we do get some kind of retracement close to our 50 EMA, or excuse me, or even our 20 EMA around 350, that would also align with the potential cup and handle. And then towards the end of the year, we would see this monstrous rally, maybe much sooner, like towards the end of this year, which is like right here. We would see a continuation of this rally all the way up to new all-time highs as we approach next year. So that's another example of how this technical setup could look like depending on how low we end up dipping. So that could be what's creating a buying opportunity if we see buyers stepping in. So Wedbush are saying that Tesla could reach 550 a share or a $2 trillion market cap because of AI developments, because of the fact that deliveries should be a lot stronger this year, and because of different factors like that. I hope that as interest rates are dropping, Tesla's sales will be improving as well. I hope that things really, work out for them. But this is another buying opportunity. So what's happened to Tesla for the shorter term is when you zoom in on like the daily chart, we're rejecting right here. We have like a head and shoulders that's slanted. We're losing support. Uh, the 4 hour is also looking weaker. We also have like this head and shoulders like pattern. This makes me suspect that Tesla will be making a move lower, but that depends on earnings. It depends on what Tesla ends up doing. Earnings is going to be very key for them, so it depends on guidance and what Tesla announces. I hope Tesla does well, but if we get some kind of retracement approaching earnings, I would love to see Tesla in like these lower levels, especially near the 200 EMA. At the 200 EMA, Tesla's been hovering above this for a long while. When you look at the 4 hour time frame, that tends to be an area where we're in a good place to get bought up. When we get major retracements or when we get major pumps and we retrace, the 200 EMA, the red line, is typically a good area where you could see some buying opportunities. In this case, Tesla was on a downtrend, so I'm not really counting that. I wouldn't necessarily say that's like a good case, but those are opportunities where buyers have been stepping in when you get those retracements after a big pump. So in this case, right, Tesla is, if we do get some kind of retracement near that area, buying it in the 380s or even like the 350s would be like really, really good opportunities to start dollar cost averaging down. Um, it could even go lower. The lower it goes, I would just say those are just really good buying opportunities because it has the potential to go into the 500s by the end of the year. And this is a very, very good price, right? You'd make an insane return. People typically on average will make just like a 5% return on their portfolios or even like on investment. That's considered really good. But if you're making like a 20, 30, 50% retracement on 50% return, excuse me, on Tesla, that's going to be really, really nice as well. If you were to buy this thing like under 400, you can make insane amounts of returns. So if we get some kind of pullback and we do end up retesting like the 380s or the 350s, I would count that as a very good buying opportunity. If we do get some kind of pullback after earnings, we'll have to see about that though. Although Tesla looks bearish, it depends on how earnings end up going. But just keep in mind, we had the opportunities to buy this thing in the 100s, the 180s, the 200s. I was saying that for a very, very long while. So just keep that in mind. As far as SPY goes, okay, SPY does look a little bit weaker when you look at the daily chart. So for instance, we have a lot of gaps to fill down here. If we can't break past the 610, I think we easily start to fill some of these into like the 590s, if not the 580s. I think we easily get back down there. And then once we come back down to fill some of these gaps, we're going to be looking for a big bounce right back up to the upside. But Just know this. Our key fib levels shows that very close to where this gap is. That's where our 0.786 retracement happens to be. And then when you zoom out, okay, if we do end up dipping to the 590s or 580s again, look at this. When you zoom out of SPY, it's another buying opportunity because the market remains bullish. There's no sign that we're in a bear market. We're in a much larger bull market. The market's been on a very, very strong uptrend. So for now, the bulls have a much larger edge when you have the weekly chart. So if we get some kind of retracements, that's another buying opportunity. Just keep that in mind. Same thing with the QQQ. It's been very bullish these last couple of years. It remains in a bull market. So if we get some kind of pullback to fill some of these gaps, whether we retrace to 520 or all the way down to 508s to fill this gap, it's a buying opportunity. We can start buying these dips very, very nicely because we're going to be getting ready for another big move up. I don't control the data. The data suggests that the U.S. economy is not doing too terribly. Our unemployment numbers are not the worst. We're still at about like a 4.1% unemployment. And then we also have Jerome Powell, who is constantly telling the markets things are going to be fine. The inflationary numbers that are being reported are not the best. They're not too bad, but they're not too great either. They're just like in the middle. So I'm just trying to say that there is progress being made. I may not trust these numbers, but the market is going to find a way to pump to squeeze lots of shorts. If everyone's expecting some kind of crash, we're not going to get the crash that people are looking for. Could it happen one day? Yes, it could, but we're not there right now. So as of right now, the trend suggests that if we do get these pullbacks, which I think could be coming very soon to SPY and the QQQ, there is simply just buying opportunities. Same thing with the Russell 2000. We've been on a very, very strong uptrend these last couple of months. If you just look at the chart, it's been on a strong uptrend. We're also forming, I believe, a much larger cup and handle on the weekly. So if you look at like the weekly chart of the Russell, there's a nice cup and handle here. Could we retrace to fill some of our gaps into like the lower 200s? Sure, but that's a buying opportunity for this handle to pan out for us to get the next leg up towards like the summertime or the end of the year. So for Tesla, it's the same thing. Okay, this could also be forming a giant cup and handle, possibly. If that's the case, awesome, right? This could be our opportunity if we get some kind of retracement to our point 382 fib level, or if we start dipping to our 20 EMA, whether it's the 380s or the 350s, wherever this thing dips to. I would just dollar cost average down if you guys haven't bought this already. Not financial advice when I say that. And then the lower it goes, however low it goes, just keep buying slowly, slowly, slowly. That's like what my strategy is. I've already bought lots of dips over here and here already. I've been dollar cost averaging on Tesla for many years. So as time goes on, this is going to be forming a very, very nice recovery, just like this. I think that this is what Tesla could easily be doing. And it's going to be very, very quick, very, very awesome for a lot of those shareholders as time goes on. And we're going to be looking for a pattern just like this for Tesla to recover. We could even be squeezing up to about the 550s by the end of this year. So, it could be happening very, very quickly. And I would rather just get in instead of just waiting for it to start running before trying to get in. The opportunities are coming, so please keep that in mind. I'm very excited for what Tesla is holding for the future. With that being said, guys, I thank you all so much for listening. Get ready for some massive moves by Tesla, and just know that we have some very, very nice buying opportunities if we do end up getting some dips after earnings. So keep that in mind, guys. I'm very confident for Tesla's long-term future. I think that there's going to be a lot of progress to be made with FSD, and Tesla is going to be making some great announcements. I can't give any promises for the exact dates that they're going to be releasing their robotaxi and all that, but I just want to say that I'm still very excited. And I'll be going over more details in the future about why I'm so excited about Tesla's future. So we'll see how things go, but just know that earnings should be very, very promising for Tesla. If we get some kind of pullback, it's another buying opportunity, plain and simple. Thank you for listening. Have a good one, guys, and peace out.